Hello guys, I am back with another episode. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and the message reads like this. Hello brother Nashi, how are you? I have my own story to share with you. Can you please share my story with the rest of your listeners? Before there was this thing of SMD and we buy cars, I used to buy all of my cars that I sell at my garage directly from the people, but I usually buy on online auctions now. But back in those days, we used to have OLX and Gumtree. So I remember that I once saw a post on OLX. Someone was selling their car. So I contacted that person who was marketing their car on OLX. Then I had to travel to go and meet up with that person. The car in question was a Toyota Camry. This car, it was a 1996 model. I went there and then we met with the people, but we met just close to the police station just for security's sake. After we had completed the deal, when I had looked at the car, I was satisfied with the condition of the car, even though it was just a second hand, but it was still a good car with good mileage on it. I knew that if I was going to take it back to my garage, if I were to fix it, I would sell it at a good price. I then chose to drive the Camry back to our province, and my younger brother, who was also my business partner, then drove the car that we had used when we had gone to purchase that Camry. I also wanted to do a road test on that Camry. I wanted to detect any potential mechanical issues. Since I am a mechanic, we drove, but as we were driving, I felt like someone or something had touched me right there at the back of my neck. This scared me so much that I swerved off the road. At that time, I was doing between 80 and 100 kilometers per hour. The speedometer on that Camry was dead, but by judging the speed that I was traveling in, chances were very high that I was doing around 100 kilometers an hour. When I swerved off the road, immediately I hit the gravel road and the ball joint on the left front wheel came off and I nearly hit a tree. So there I was stuck right next to a graveyard, and most spare shops were already closed. Left with no option, I had to send my younger brother to a nearby town to get someone who could tow us. When my younger brother drove off to get a towing truck so that we can make another plan, my brother, but it took me 5 days for us to get home to my workshop with this car, because along the way I faced so many challenges. When my younger brother came back with that tow truck, the owner of that tow truck, who was a long-time friend of mine, he said, "No, let us go back to my house so that you guys can sleep at my workshop. Then tomorrow morning we can try to make a plan." When we went to his workshop, he then told me that he knew someone who owned the same model. It was also a Toyota Camry. He told me that he once heard that the guy was busy stripping his Toyota Camry and selling off the parts. So he said, "Let us go and pay him a visit." We unhooked that Toyota Camry at his workshop. Then we got into the car. We drove to that place, and yes, when we arrived at his house, we saw that it was the same model. Then we started working on that Toyota Camry. We removed the ball joints. Then we went back to the workshop. I was tired, but my younger brother then told me that let us just try to work on this car and let's see what is going to happen. We worked on that car, but after we had finished replacing that ball joint, there was another problem. The car would not start. It was so painful. Suddenly, the car that was in good operating condition, it refused to start. We didn't know what was the problem, so we started all the diagnostics on that car. We searched for any problems, but we couldn't find any problem. We worked on that car throughout the night. Then early in the morning, it was somewhere around 4 a.m. That is when we managed to fix that car. After we had fixed the car, me and my younger brother, we just said, let us try to do a road test. So we got out of the workshop. I think we traveled for something like 500 or 1 kilometer just doing a road test. Suddenly the car died again. But from the smell that was coming from underneath the car, I immediately knew that this smell, it only meant that we now had a bigger problem. The clutch plate on that Camry was just bent like that. I don't understand how it all happened. So we had to be towed again back to that workshop. We dropped the gearbox, then we started working on that clutch plate. We stayed at that guy's house for almost 2 days. Then we started to drive back to my workshop. But still, along the way, we faced so many challenges that still boggles my mind. On that night, when I was left alone in that Camry, I then decided to dig in and sleep. So I then slept on the back seat. But the moment that I fell asleep, sleep paralysis just attacked me like that. I saw someone that looked like a woman. She entered into the car in which I was sleeping in. Then that woman tried to suffocate me. What will happen to me is that I would fight with that woman. We would fight so much in that car because she will be trying to suffocate me. Then I will be punching her. So when I will be fighting with this spirit, when I would have defeated that spirit, I would wake up. This thing, it happened so many times. Finally, when that sleep paralysis released me, I then decided to get out of the car so that I can get some fresh air. When I got out of the car, I said, I am not going back in that car because everything that had happened to me whilst I was sleeping in that car had never happened to me before. So I ended up sitting close to the road because sitting inside that car was causing all of these spiritual attacks, and the place where I was, network was not good. So I was not in good communication with my younger brother, and it was a very cold night. I ended up selling this Camry 3 times, and it gave me a lot of problems. People kept on coming back to my garage and they were always fighting with me for a refund. In the beginning, when the first customer brought back that Camry and he was saying that he wants his money back, I refused. And he said that you and we are going to die today if you do not give me my refund. This is your car. Is it not that I bought this car yesterday? Look at your car. It is still in good condition. I don't want your car. Take your car, please. All that I want is my money. The first time I tried to fight with that guy, but when he walked out of that garage and when he told me that I don't want the money anymore, just take your car back, I said, no, this one, what is wrong with him? Then I called him back and I told him that since he had already drove the car, then I was going to take a percentage from the money that he had given me when he was buying that car. Then he said it was okay. I removed a certain percentage from the money that he had given me, but he never complained. All that he wanted was his car back. So this thing kept on happening again and again. Each and every time that I will sell this Camry to another customer, I knew that the person would come back and he would demand a refund. The other thing that I noticed, I saw that whenever the Camry would be sold at home, me and my wife, there would be peace. But whenever someone would come back to my garage bringing back that Camry, immediately the time that I would go back home, my wife would all of a sudden, my wife will start insulting me and I will insult her back. And at home, there will be no peace. This only happened when that Camry was at my garage. There was a time when my wife once threatened to stab me with a knife. I then heard that the owners of this car had died a very violent death. The woman suspected her husband of cheating. Then she tried to poison him. And when he saw her pouring poison in his food, they had a very big fight and he ended up killing her. After that man had found out that he had killed his own wife, he then decided to take his own life. And he once tried to hide her in the back of that Camry when he saw that he had murdered her. When I heard this story, I sold that Camry at almost half of the price. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that I received from Anonymous. Quite a scary story, I'll be back with another episode.